Hello, people, and welcome to another episode of the International Music Reviews Podcast. This is Greg of Gregson in the Barns, brought to you by International Music Reviews Productions. But I'm not doing this myself. Oh, no, because I can't do a podcast without having somebody with me, personal help, rein me in and make sure that, I'm sort of kind of sticking to some sort of outline and make sure I don't make too much of a fool of myself. All the way from Germany, we have Mr. Eddie Mercury. How are you?
Oh, I'm just doing great.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. About the album we're going to review, and the band we're going to review, I should say. Did you like the choice after, going through the hundreds and hundreds of ideas?
Well, it was okay. I mean, I could deal with it. I didn't scream or I wasn't in pain while listening to the album, so it was okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we got that all out of the way. So we'll just get right into it. On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at a band that, it tends to divide people, to be honest. And the band in question is Bon Jovi. And, some people love them, some people hate them, with a passion, I may add. And, some just like the hits, Bon Jovi, they're a band that has so many different splinters of fans, and, it's crazy. And, the band is a target of, criticism and, backlash and negativity, which to a point I can understand, with all the ridiculous, goofy stuff going on with them and, John and everything. But, I deal with it. I am a fan of theirs. I mean, they have, at least to me, have released some good stuff, and they've also released some really terrible stuff too. And we're gonna be taking a look at the very first studio album they did back in early '84, January 21st was the exact date. And we're gonna start way at the beginning here, very first album. How I got into Bon Jovi and when I first heard of them. I don't remember the first time I can pinpoint when I heard a Bon Jovi song, but I'll assume it was, growing up in the youth and grade school, probably hearing Wanted Dead or Alive or, Living on a Prayer or something. I became familiar with some of their big hit singles in the 2000s. Those two songs mentioned, Lay Your Hands on Me, Bed of Roses, all the really big hits that they had in the mid-late 80s and to an extent the early 90s. And I really only became officially like a fan, about a year or so ago. It's because I started to really start paying attention to more of the music and John's vocal ability back on those studio albums, and became just interested in it and checking out the musicianship and the live stuff. And slowly but surely I've been buying Bon Jovi albums. I have all of the studio albums that they've released, and I have some of the solo stuff that the members have done. I don't have any of David Bryan's stuff, but I have the two albums John did, the Blaze of Glory soundtrack and the Destination Anywhere album. And then I have Richie's 3 solo albums. So I'm a fairly big fan of the band. And we'll take a look at this first album to see what I think of it. If it's one of their better ones, or if it's got a lot of crap on it, Who knows? But before I start talking about the songs and stuff, I'm going to let my co-host, Mr. Eddie, talk a little bit about them. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I can't really remember when I really like heard Bon Jovi the first time. I mean, I know that like in the radio, I think my parents, shockingly, my sister, really like the like pop music radio station in Germany. And I am kind of I'm kind of forced to listen to the radio when I'm in the living room with them. Um, and since they have like hits, big hits in Germany as well, I got familiar with Bon Jovi, or at least with the hits. Like I would say, that over 10 years ago, because yeah, they play like songs like "Living on a Prayer" or "Keep the Faith" or "It's My Life" on the radio. So I kind of got to know like the really big hits or something, often by via radio. But um, yeah, and then about a little bit over a year ago, somebody decided to give me the greatest hits album by Bon Jovi, Crossroads, for my birthday, as a birthday present. And this person who has the honor to kind of like introduce me a little bit more to Bon Jovi than I already was is Greg over there, my co-host. And I don't consider myself to be a Bon Jovi fan. I mean, I have just out of curiosity, I once downloaded their album "Living on a no, not "Living on a Prayer," "Keep the Faith." Sorry, I downloaded the album "Keep the Faith," and maybe when we talk about that album some other day, I'll tell you about my impressions on that one. But for that album, for the debut album for Bon Jovi, I don't know. I had a few songs. I listened to a few songs before of that album, but when I really got introduced to that album was literally like 2 days ago or something. And Greg was like, "Oh, we can talk about that album," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." So that's like the kind of background history. Also to add to my background history is in exactly 19 days, I'm going to see Bon Jovi live, and somebody who's very crazy and has a very bad taste in music forced me to go with them. So I'll just go with them. I'll just go with them.
Because we're gonna be we're currently recording this on the 10th of March.
Yeah.
And I don't know when this will be up or out on anything, but what I will say, and so it's captured in audio, is we're going to be seeing Bon Jovi at the Joe Louis Arena on the 29th.
Yeah, in Detroit.
And we're most likely, because I was talking to Mr. Eddie, and I was thinking, hey, maybe we should do like a special episode, like a live concert review about that show. So chances are we might just do an episode on our experiences at the show and about the performances and stuff. So so if you guys like Bon Jovi, you probably might like that episode, or just try to like it.
Just try to like and go through this. And keep yourself alive and don't kill yourself. Well, if you're not a Bon Jovi fan, you really hate them or passionately hate them, just I don't know, just turn off the episode. There's probably plenty of other album reviews on here on our podcast that you'll probably like. So yeah. Since you're the bigger Bon Jovi fan of us too, and since I think all the other album reviews we did so far. I think I went first because those were albums that I like kind of picked or something. I'll just let you go first to talk about the first track on the album, if that's okay with you.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine with me. Okay, so we'll get started with the track listing. First song is, the hit single, "Runaway." The biggest hit off the album, made the top 40, their first top 40 hit. First single released in February of '84. What's interesting about this song is it's on the album, and you look at the credits and stuff, and it has the classic Bon Jovi lineup on there. It's got John on the vocals, it's got Richie as the guitarist, Alec John Sush is on the bass, Tico's on the drums, and David Bryan's on the keys. But "Runaway" is the only song on the album that only features John from that lineup on there. All the instruments were played by totally different people.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is, the bassist is on that one track is the current bassist in Bon Jovi. So Hugh McDonald. So that was was always interesting to hear that. And then Roy Bittan, who's best known to be playing with Bruce Springsteen, is the keyboardist on this song. So some random info and there. As far as the song goes, I can see why it was the lead single, the biggest hit. Very catchy. It's very up tempo. I love the chorus, and I love the energy of the song. I think it's a great opener to the album. It used to be my favorite song off the album. But in the time since I've heard the album, which I first got year and a half, 2 years ago, there's one song that kind of surpassed it, but "Runaway" is still a great song. One of my favorite songs they've done, and a great opener to the album. I really love this song. Starts off high for me. How about you, Mr. Eddie?
Yeah, this song has a really interesting, energy. It's kind of a little stadium song that people just can sing along with on a live concert or something, because it's catchy, and it's I think if you would ask me, it sounds kind of dated. It sounds like one of those 80 rock songs or something, and I mean it's still good. I like it. It's not my it's actually tied. The song is tied with another song on the album that could be that's my favorite song. Sometimes it's most of the time it switches which one is the best, and that's my favorite song on the album. And as of today, I would say this is my favorite song on the album. So we go into the next song called "Roulette," and again this song is a catchy song. Again, at least the chorus is catchy. I think it's kind of simple, or the structure is really simple. I mean the song. When you look at the melody and the instrumentation, you don't have to be a pro musician or something who to write a song like that. It's pretty easy, a pretty simple structure or something, but it's okay with me. I don't have anything against that. So yeah, that's just me. How about you, Greg? What do you think?
I actually like this one quite a bit. It's a straightforward, kind of glossy hard rock glam metal kind of song. The chorus is awesome. I love the backing vocals in it. Really catchy riff in there. This one is another one I really like. It's top 3 for me for the album. This is one I wish that was played more often after after the initial tours for this stuff, because after I would say about the Slippery When Wet tour onwards, they started to really like phase out everything from this album and just keep like Runaway on there, because John, I believe, said something to the effect of that the material on this album and 7800 degrees Fahrenheit weren't up to par, which I actually disagree with, but to an extent, but that's for another topic. But I wish the song was played more often, like in their prime years, because I think it's just a great song that that rocks in the live environment. I mean, they clear credit, they revived it back on the Circle tour, in 2010, but it wasn't the same. But they gave it a try and everything. It was kind of a pleasant surprise. But yeah, I like Roulette. Great singing by John too. He had a hell of a voice back in the day. Today, voice is kind of different sounding.
Yeah.
All right. The next one. She Don't Know Me. This one's the only song on the album that's not written by any of the Bon Jovi members. Mark Absek played in the one-hit wonder band Wild Cherry. They're best known for play that funky music, that quasi-disco funk song. And John has said he hates this song. And I can see why. It's very dated. It's just, it's definitely a big drop from the previous two. I don't think it's the worst thing that I've heard from Bon Jovi. I mean, definitely it's a big downgrade from the previous two songs and stuff. It's very dated, and it sounds like it could be like a theme song for an 80s soap opera or something. But I mean, it's got kind of a charm about it, like that cheesy 80s charm. But I mean, it's not one of my favorites. It's a borderline mediocre song, but it's not the worst song, if that makes sense. I mean, I can get through it. But I understand why John hates it. How about you, Mr. Eddie?
Well, I can totally see why John hates it, because this is my least favorite song on the album. This doesn't sound like Bon Jovi. Really sounds like an 80s pop rock song by some, I don't know, some one-hit wonder band of which you'll never ever hear again in the future after that big wonder, that big hit wonder or something. It just sounds really awfully cheesy, and now this is definitely my least favorite song on the album. And to be fair, that the song is not even was not even written by any Bon Jovi members, so I can kind of I don't know, it's kind of Bon Jovi's fault to put that stuff on the album, but at least they're not guilty for writing shit like that, so. Yeah. We go on with the next song. Actually, before I go on with the next song, kind of like She Don't Know Me. If my English teacher would just see me write a sentence in English beginning with she don't, I would have gotten a really bad mark in English, and so would probably Greg, because she don't. That's very grammatically perfect. But anyway, I'll move on with the next song, which is called "Shut Through the Heart." This is definitely better than the previous song. It's kind of like a typical stadium song that you would like. You can imagine like a crowd singing along with because it's catchy again. It's catchy again, and I think you can't play Bon Jovi for not you can't play Bon Jovi for not like produce music that's not catchy because literally like everything of them, every song is kind of catchy. And I mean the thing is, it can be good when the song is catchy, but it also can be bad. I mean the song is like, yeah, I mean it's okay. I mean I don't really hate it, but it's just like kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It has nothing really special about it. It's just again catchy, and yeah. So, what do you think about the song, Greg?
I pretty much agree with you. To me, it's a filler track, but it's not bad. It's just there. I like the chorus, and I like Richie's guitar solo and everything. I think those are the best parts about the song. But it is catchy, but it's filler, but it's okay-ish. It's a step up from She Don't Know Me, that's for sure. At least this is their own material here, so that's what I gotta say. I mean, it's not a bad song, but it's not a memorable song overall, but a catchy one. This one, the next song is called "Love Lies." It starts off kind of mellow with the with David's keyboard playing. I thought it was gonna be like some sort of like ballad or something, and I'm like, oh, one of these. This one was again, it's not bad, but it's just there on the album. But I'll say, John has some, does some great, high, singing and screaming, in the, back half of the song. And it's an unoffensive song. It's okay. It's okay. But it's just it's just not like a great song. It's decent, but with some great elements in it. But it's not like great or anything. How about you, Mr. Eddie?
Well, I would say, when you listen to the intro, I was like, oh no, this is probably gonna be a cheesy 80s ballad or something by Bon Jovi, which is gonna sound very ridiculous and unbelievable. But thankfully, it's turned out it's like changed. The song kind of changes directions, getting better as the song goes on, but it's still not like a good song. I mean, this is actually my second least favorite song on the album. It's just there. I mean, there's really nothing. I don't really think there's anything special about it except for maybe John's vocal range or something. But I mean, I don't know. It's just not really that kind of stuff I would really listen to on the own, if you will. I mean, if I wouldn't have to review the album, I would have skipped the song probably, again with some other songs on the album. But yeah, that's just me. The next song is called "Break Out," and I gotta say this is more like this is definitely a better song than the previous one. It's again like a rock song, almost like it's like definitely hard rock, and it's not as bad as other songs the album, or previous songs on the album. It's on the upper average scale, if I would like rate it or something. It's, of course, again, it's like a catchy song. I mean, I don't think if I would have to, I don't think there is really any song on the album which is not catchy. At least the chorus should be, it's like catchy on those songs. But I mean, just because a song is catchy doesn't make it a good song or something. So I would, yeah, it's another average song for me. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. So yeah. What do you think about Fade Out?
Remember when I said earlier that there was a song that surpassed Runaway as being my favorite?
Oh God.
Yeah. This is the one. And I'll explain why. At first, when I heard it, with like the synthesizers, it has like that 80s cheese factor about it with the keyboards. But and that's what I thought it was, just an 80s, cheesy glam metal-y song that's catchy with a sing-along chorus. But I've come to really appreciate the song a lot. I like how it's structured, and I like how John's vocals, are in the song in terms of like how he sings it and phrases it. And it's just a fun song to listen to. It's just a sing along. I like the breakout in the backing vocals, like the call and response. The vocals are awesome. John had a great voice back then. Lots of power, great tone, which sadly doesn't quite sound like this anymore, and that's putting it mildly. And then this is the longest song on the album, but it doesn't feel like it's too long. It feels like it's, just they did what they did in the 5.5 minutes or so, and it doesn't feel like it's too overstretched. And I really like Richie's solo to it. It's a really good solo. And I think it's just a legit awesome song. My favorite off of the album. And now we'll move to the next one. Burning for Love. One of the first songs written for the album. And this one, let down from the previous song, but whatever. It's not bad at all. I mean, it's actually quite a good song, at least in my view. It's got that driving, fast-paced, beat throughout the whole thing, and very energetic. It's a great song to just drive fast to, and it's pretty good, and and I like the harmonies, the backing vocals, and the choruses. So Burning for Love, pretty good if you ask me. Not bad at all. How about you, Mr. Eddie?
Burning for Love. Well, first when I saw the title of the song, I was like, this title sounds really cheesy. Really like cheesy. I could imagine it to be like a cheesy 80s synthesizer ballad or something, but it's not. It's better than that. It's actually a pretty good song with good instrumental work. And vocally it's also good. So I don't really have anything against it. It's okay for me. I mean, I can listen to it and sound cringe or something. So I would say it would be in the average range. I mean, it's not a brilliant song or something, but I don't hate it either. So yeah. We're going to the next to the next song, which is the second to last song, and the song title is "Come Back." And this again, the song is like it sounds like an 80s hard rock or more like a pop rock song, because I mean it's catchy again, and there's really nothing special about this particular song. It's just there. I mean, it's really nothing. I mean, just because a song is catchy doesn't make it a good song, and that's what I think sometimes Bon Jovi doesn't get or something. Otherwise, they would have written different kind of songs, or at least like some different kind of songs, because I don't know. I don't know. It's just nothing, has just nothing to it, really. I mean, it's not as horrible as She Don't Know Me or something, but it's like really not the kind of songs I would listen to. Like I'm going, when you listen to the whole album, and when you have the feeling like they just writing catchy songs that you keep stuck in your mind if you have a fucking earworm or something. I don't know. And the song, this is with that kind of earworm you get from a song that got nothing really that so much special about it. I mean, it's just fucking catchy, and that's it. What's your opinion, Greg?
Come Back. It's the worst song on the album that has Bon Jovi members in the credits. That's for sure. You know, semi-catchy chorus, but that's really all that's going for. This is just, it's fillery. It's not even killer filler. It's just there on the album. I don't really like the song all that much. But it's a little bit above She Don't Know Me, but that's because it has the members on it for the writers. But it's still not really that good of a song, to be honest. So that's just me. And also this was the other song that was written very early in the album sessions, along with Burning for Love. So that's probably why it was sounded like that. But let's listen into the last song for the album. Get Ready. Shares the same title as the Temptations classic, but it sounds nothing like it. But this one actually is considering some of the other songs on here, I actually think this one is quite a good tune. It's definitely a lot better than the previous song. I'd rank it about the same, maybe a little better than Burning for Love. It sounds like a Bon Jovi song, obviously, but it kind of has an edge to it, like, it can fit, like, it fits in a live environment, like you could play it at the end of a show, because it has that sound to it. It's energetic, you can have fun with it, jam on the song. But it's a song that it's obviously Bon Jovi, but it sounds like it could be a song made by somebody else, if that makes sense. But it's not a bad thing or anything. But the chorus, I love the chorus. With the harmonies. But yeah, I think Get Ready is pretty good. And it ends the album, on a pretty good note. I mean, at least they picked a solid song. So yeah, I would say Get Ready is rings pretty well in my book. How about you?
Mm. Yeah, this is actually my second favorite song on the album. Because I think it's just a great rock song. And if I had a motorbike, I would listen to that with my headphones on a motorbike because that would give me that has the right feeling to it, like driving on the street and with your motorbike or something. But unfortunately, I don't have a motorbike. I just have a boring car. But I like the song. It's a really great song. Definitely, definitely. This at least the second, my second favorite song on the album. Um, and actually, when I listened to the album the first time, I liked this song actually more than Runaway. But well, as I went through the album like quite a few times, I decided that Runaway is actually better than this one. While the song is still a good song, so yeah. So that's just my opinion on the last song of the album. Um, do you want me to go ahead with what I think of the album in general and rating and stuff?
Um,
Or do you want to do it?
I'll go into it. I'll go
Okay.
into it first. For me, Bon Jovi's first album, their debut. I'll say, it's not a bad album at all. It's to me, it's actually a tad maybe understated, because they have massively successful and popular albums like Slippery When Wet, New Jersey, which are their biggest albums in the U.S. And then, you have stuff, like Keep the Faith, which was a worldwide phenomenon, especially in Europe, same as these days. And their earliest stuff, their pre-stardom material tends to get kind of overshadowed by all that. But, I mean, I gotta say, this first album is not bad. I actually would prefer this, actually, over, I don't know off the top of my head what I would prefer it over in the early days, but this first album beats any album Bon Jovi did post these days. That is for sure. Yes, this album is, it's not complex. It's pretty a basic, almost like a stereotypical 80s hard rock glam metal-y type album. And it's nothing that, as you said earlier, it's nothing really technically complex. It's nothing that's like overly difficult or anything. It's relatively simple stuff, but I'll have to agree with a review I've seen of this album that it said that the songs may be simple and has cliches in the writing, but it's pretty consistent, and it's got passion, and it's got good melody in it. So that, to me, I'm pretty much in agreement with that. As you heard, I wasn't, I didn't really hate anything. There's two songs that I don't really like. It's the She Don't Know Me and Come Back. But everything else is either like okay. I mean, 5 of the 9 songs I like or love. So I mean, it wasn't a disaster at all, and it was fairly consistent, and I didn't cringe listening to this album. So all in all, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Pretty good debut, and actually one of the Bon Jovi albums to actually start off with, because it has consistency about it in some way, and I don't think it's bad. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. How about you?
I think the album is pretty much, I mean, you said the lyrics are good or something, or no, you said the melodies are good, that was it. And I would say that the melodies are really, really basic and simple, and sometimes they sound just like very similar to other Bon Jovi songs. Um, I'm just not a great fan if you have the impression that like half the album sounds similar or kind of the same. It's just like I don't really think I think they wrote catchy songs. But that doesn't mean that those catchy songs are like good quality songs. And actually, and most of the songs are like average songs. There's a few standout songs on the album that I actually like. But overall, there's nothing too special on the album, I have to say. And if I have to rate the album, I would probably give it. I would say I would give it a 6.5 out of 10 because it's not really that good of an album. It's and If You Don't Know Me is the absolute worst song on the album. I hate it actually, just like Don does. So yeah, there's nothing too special about the album. So but to add this, I'm not a Bon Jovi fan overall. I think if you ask me, they're a greatest hits band, like a typically greatest hits band. When you listen, like I don't know, if you own their greatest hits album, you're done. Like you're good, so you don't need anything else from them. So as a band, so that's just my opinion as a non-Bon Jovi fan. So yeah, as I look at the time, this is probably our shortest episode you ever recorded, because only like, I don't know, 40 some minutes or something up to this point. You know?
Yeah, I mean it's we got through that relatively quick, and to go off those points you were making, I can see why people give the greatest hits title to to Bon Jovi, because because I'm speaking as a fan here. They have a lot of catchy sing-along anthems. They have a lot of big hits. I can understand the casual music fan would probably know at least a handful of their songs, mostly their 80s stuff, and they would probably would know it from the radio, or maybe have seen Bon Jovi live, knowing that they're going to play those 80s classics. And a lot of their fans are, I wouldn't say a lot of the fans, I actually don't know about their fan bases too much, but I can guarantee you that a number of fans that go to their shows are kind of like casual fans of theirs, or greatest hits fans that know like the big hits.
Yeah. For example, myself.
Yeah, like that's more in like your territory. For me, I like them, although I will say that they have fillers on their albums. Especially post '90s stuff, where filler is actually a positive term, and some other stuff isn't. But yeah, I would actually say that if you know of Bon Jovi and you're kind of interested in them or want to see what they can do, as all the greatest hits album, the Crossroads compilation would be probably the best way to start with it, because that's got a really good compilation of their stuff on it. So I would recommend that. And for a studio album, again, if you want to get an album with like hits on it, like the most popular stuff, probably Slippery When Wet and New Jersey would be your safest choices for those. But for me personally, I'm not sure if it's my favorite album of theirs, but it's one I do listen to a lot and I do like it. It's It's the album they did right after Crossroads. It's called These Days. And that album is very, very different from this one. It's, it sounds nothing like it. It's more dark sounding. It's got a more mellow sound to it. It's more mature sounding. It's got, instead of like the hair metal, anthemisk sound on this, this one has like a blend of, say, it's got like pop rock. It's got some like adult contemporary-esque stuff, some quasi country folky kind of stuff on there, but I personally really like that album. That would probably be a pick if you want something outside of like the big 80s hits one, because I personally really like that one. And what ranking did you give this album?
Yeah, because I know you were doing so. I could hear it in the background. You did something else. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, so it's another case where I give it a little bit of a higher score than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I was doing in the back was checking the stove for food, so it was important. I had it timed. But yeah, that's pretty much our take on Bon Jovi's first album. Will there be more Bon Jovi album reviews in the future? Maybe not. Who knows? If I'm still alive after the concert, maybe so. But we'll at least get you a live concert review of their show.
And maybe Greg will get so drunk on one can of beer after the show or during the show that he won't be able to review anything because he'll be gone. Or something, or his mind will be gone, or something.
Oh, I'll be recording that show. I have to not have anything, so you can count on me.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so yeah, we will review the show and after pretty much probably the day after the show, and just tell you about like our impressions of the show, what we think about the performances and stuff. And yeah, I mean I wouldn't say I'm a big Bon Jovi fan. I'm basically a greatest hits Bon Jovi fan, if that's a word or something. So yeah, I mean I'll be looking forward to it, even if Bon Jovi or John Bon Jovi is just in bad vocal shape, I'll still can say and show off with, hey, I went to a Bon Jovi concert or something. So yeah. Any other things you have to mention?
No, nothing really much. I think we covered everything, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of International Music Reviews with Greg St. Barnes and
Mr. Eddie.
That's right, Mr. Eddie.
That sounded Italian.
Whatever.
It's
me, Gregory. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say goodbye before I, fuck up some more accents. So.
Yes.
So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.